Saggies, oh my Saggies, welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Saggies, we have the fault line and the storm, Gnosis and the stone, and the flame. Well, Saggies, I mean, you've the fault line is just like one thing after another thing after another thing, right? Like, what foundation are you standing on when it's such a broken down foundation? Like I step and I trip or I fall or like I just feel like there's no way, there's no real like safe direction to take, because you just feel really confused by a lot of what's going on around you. This can be a past energy. I don't know where you're at in this read in terms of the energy. So please do take what resonates, how it resonates, and leave the rest. They are general reads and you can be on either side of the story. But I feel like there's just this sense of like knowing like what you're actually anchored in versus the confusion that surrounds this idea of, like not really having a safe place to stand. And I think a lot of that has to do with a desire. The flame is the idea of like a moth drawn to a flame. Like you just like you're pulled into something, you're pulled towards something. And I feel like whatever it is that you're being pulled toward, you have an awareness of all the reasons that like that feels more solid to you, it feels more anchored to you, as opposed to what you were dealing with that felt a lot more fractured out, a lot more confusing, a lot more like every step you take, you're going to trip and fall, like, ooh. Okay, Saggies. Let's see what else we can get for y'all. I hope everyone is doing well out there. Staying warm if you're where it's snowing. And enjoying the sun if you're not. Damn, y'all. The fire signs. Well, that's normal, right? Okay, so you have Judgment and the Seven of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Seven of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. Like again, whatever this confusion was, whatever this like faulty foundation was that you were standing on, that was like not. I feel like there's just judgment that's being passed, of just kind of that idea of like, you know what, I really am better off on my own. I'm better off without all of the confusion. I'm better off without all of the lack. I'm better off without, like the attacks and just all of it. And I think feeling like you're finding your way out because you're anchored in, there's something that you're anchored in that you love, and you're drawn to it because I think that it like there is this sense of being anchored into something. And when you feel anchored, whether that's friends, family, like a new job opportunity, however it plays out for you, your community, when you feel anchored in something and you have like a full awareness of like why that is your anchor, anything that tries to distract you from that no longer seems relevant because you feel like your point of focus is like on this anchored in sense of stability. And I think that occurs because you're like the judgment that's being passed is being passed in terms of, like the storm and the fault line, the confusion, like one thing after another, like why something wouldn't work. Saggies. Okay, you have the Nine of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, the Fairy Stallion, the Three of Wands, and the Four of Wands. This is again very much the idea of like working with people. The Four of Wands is kind of like a community of people that you're working with, a community of people who what you can travel with, a community of people who you can, build with because they're anchored in what you're anchored in. Like you focused on what is it that I really want out of life? Why is it that I really want that out of life? And now you're able to really take moves and action to go towards your wish fulfillment, because that's what the Nine of Pentacles is. It's just this idea of like being really satisfied with yourself, feeling really good about the work that you've put into to something, like the power of, like practicing decision making and making moves in directions that don't cause confusion, that don't leave you feeling like you're existing in a state of lack, but leave you feeling like you're anchored in a solid community, quite possibly a partnership that is involved with that as well, like within your community, but like whatever it is, you're drawn to it. You feel anchored in it, and you feel like there's like this just general understanding around it, concerning like your own awareness. And I love that. All right, Saggies. Let's see what else we can get for that. Ace of Pentacles, the Hierophant, Six of Cups, and Temperance. Well, I mean, Saggies, I feel like there's a new opportunity. It's a new opportunity that's really allowing for you to, I think, feel a sense of balance, right? Temperance, as above, so below, like big scale balance, and understanding, the Hierophant, ever the teacher, ever the student, just like a large amount of understanding, a large amount of balance. And I think that it all kind of comes on this like new opportunity that you feel really drawn to. Like it I think it's that, like, whatever that opportunity is for you is almost like that flame, like the opportunity is like that flame that pulls you in. And I kind of feel like this Gnosis energy, this anchored energy is something that, like, the deeper in you get, the more cemented you feel, the more like drawn in you seem to go. I just kind of get this feeling of like, I don't want to say a wormhole because I feel like wormholes are very, I mean, like I love my Virgos, but like Virgos can wormhole because they're so detail oriented that they get trapped in the details. I feel like Saggies are almost the opposite of that, where they're like not super detail oriented. So, like they can be here and here and here and here and here and here and here. And then when they're in all of these different directions, like because they want to explore all of it, they want to understand all of it. You feel pieced out, you feel, broken down, you feel confused about what it is that you're doing and why. And I feel like whatever this flame energy is for you, like it almost gives you like a point of direction, like a point of focus. But this point of direction, this point of focus, like it just feels like there's no other direction that you want to go. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing else that I want to do. Like this is the only thing that really feels right to me. And I feel anchored in it. And I feel like that's definitely, like the direction that you're taking. I'm not sure that you've taken this direction yet or not, because the Ace of Pentacles is that new beginning. And I feel like this is a lot of like the process of understanding that comes with this new beginning. Because sometimes we don't really know what we have until it's gone. We don't know what we didn't have until we get it, and then we're like, oh fuck, how did I live without that? Like if you live without like the internet for a while, and then you get the internet back and you're like, oh god, I missed it. Like let me scroll. Let me focus on this for a minute. Let me enjoy this for a second, because I do feel anchored in it, and I do feel drawn to it, and I do feel like this new opportunity, like is surrounding you with healthy communities, healthy relationships, that make you feel stronger, safer, and I know that that's not necessarily, like safety isn't always necessarily my Sagittarius' number one concern, but emotional security is always a concern for everyone. And I feel like there's been a lot of a lack in emotional security. And I feel like whatever it is that you're doing next, there's a sense of emotional security that makes you want to just like go down that path. The mentor. I mean, the mentor is the idea. I mean, it could be that you have somebody, because I almost feel like this could be like a boss, or like a friend who's just kind of like, hey, why don't you try this direction? Why don't you try this opportunity? Why don't you da 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 da? Because again, I just kind of feel like it's safe. It's safe to explore. It's safe to get lost in. And you love to explore, and you love to like almost get lost in things. But I feel like you've done that to an extreme that left you feeling unseen, unheard, not safe. And I feel like the direction that you're going in next is going to be one that really allows for you to feel seen, feel heard, feel safe, in a way that feels right to a Saggy, because what feels safe to a Saggy isn't going to be what feels safe to, like what a Scorpio. these are just different mentalities, different energies, you know. But I feel like whatever the safety is that you're experiencing, it's right for you, and I love that. If this did resonate, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and sharing your energy with me, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.